Our family got some great news. Our oldest son, Zach, he was accepted into the University of Florida. That's right. Go chomp chomp. I know you Seminoles are like, yeah, it's not big news. That's not big news. I know it might not be everybody in the room's top choice, but it was his. And so we are pretty stoked for him. And he's excited to be back here in Florida for college and where he also wants to go into med school. So please pray for him and for the bank of mom and dad. You know what I'm talking about, right? It went from 4 years to, oh my goodness. Now, he has his whole life planned out. He's a planner, and so he recently told us that, I don't know, during year 7.5 of his 35-year plan, that right before he goes into his own practice, he would like to offer himself as a doctor to the military, right? And so that's pretty cool. But sadly, my initial fatherly, caring response was, why? Why would you do that? I mean, what if you end up in harm's way, son, you know? What if you don't make the big bucks you need to provide for your family or to pay your school loans, aka us, back? He said, Dad, you know how every Veterans Memorial, Independence Day, you ask those who have served their country to stand and we honor them, or at special events and big games, military stands, and we applaud? Well, someday I want to be one of those who can stand up. Oh, okay, dude. Puts his dad in his place. I mean, yes, sacrifice can be all of the pain and the loss and the inconvenience, all the things that I saw and I wanted to avoid for me and for him. But sacrifice is also the most celebrated, the most noble ideal that we as people can ever pursue. Paul, the writer of Philippians, saw sacrifice as noble. My son was saying he sees sacrifice as noble. I need to see sacrifice the same way too. I think a lot of life is how you see things. And as we're beginning our Rebellious Joy series through the book of Philippians, I actually find that much of Paul's words to them are to help them see through the surface realities of life to God's deeper realities. In fact, when we lived in the great and greatly unchurched Northwest, and I pastored a new church in the crazy place the IFC knows as Portlandia, we did a study of Philippians, and I called it The Matrix. After the movie, and I preached a bunch of the messages dressed as the main character, Neo. I mean, you know, and we were all so unchurched that no one found a series in church referencing a rated R movie, what are you thinking, Steve, and was inappropriate in any way, or that the preacher was dressing up like a sci-fi character, was in any way nerdy. I mean, we were our own dweeby little Comic-Con going through the book of Philippians, but they got it, they understood it, that in this world, beyond the visible surface reality of life is often a deeper, different, and better reality we can find if we're willing to look for it, rebelliously choose it, and soldier through to it. Think about it. Pastor Jason told us last week, Paul, when he's writing this, he's in prison. Plus, he had Christian people saying bad stuff about him for being in prison. Plus, his life is on the line. Each day could be his last. That's grim even for the most optimistic of us. But Paul, like I often notice in our military servants, he's able to see through the challenges and the obstacles to a noble and even strategic reality. His circumstances were trying to rob his joy away, but he was rebelliously going to choose joy. Now, I was a rebel once. There was one time, I started out as an athlete in high school, but my friends convinced me to try out for the school's student-written plays. And to my surprise, I was cast as Rebel Yell. Yes, it was the 80s. The Billy Idol-like leader of the rebellion against the evil Lord Cruella's ban on music in the land. It was like a sci-fi Footloose or something like that. I'm not sure. I really, all of a sudden, I liked this whole acting thing. I think I was doing... Now, the award that year for a best performance did end up going to the a guy twice my size who they had geniusly casted as a cross-dressing drag queen. You know, there's just some things in the world and in the drama community that you just can't compete with, my friends. I'm just telling you, that's just the way that it is. But hey, I was a really good rebel leader. And so in fact, I had become so convinced in my role that when at the same time in our school, you know, in the real world, they mandated that we could not wear shorts for the rest of the year. It was I who felt somehow fit to lead the small rebellion of Bermuda shorts wearers, you know, it was the 80s, down the hall in protest. I don't know, against the man? I have no idea. But we marched, all right into the detention room. Yeah, so it's like our own little goofy Breakfast Club moment, I don't know. But dumb and totally unnecessary. But my mind was just so convinced of my role that I really felt like truly I am part of a greater reality. Well, I was wrong, totally wrong, and I was a total goofball. But Paul, he's right, and he's right on to see things the way that he did, and to be so convinced of it, and to try to convince us as well. So what realities did Paul face? And what deeper realities did he see through them? First, Paul faces adversity, but maybe with his best Morpheus voice, he might seem to ask, is it adversity or opportunity? I mean, Paul says something regarding the adversity of his imprisonment here in verses 12 and on. He says, now I want you to know, this is the word for knowing the true nature of something. Brothers and sisters, what has happened to me, this adversity, has actually served, erkomai is the word here, it's the word for come. As if God didn't just react to this adversity, but he actually brought it on for his very strategic purpose to advance, to make a way for the gospel to have an inroad to more and more people. As a result, he says, of this seeming adversity, it has become clear throughout the whole palace guard, the special Roman military unit who protected the most important officials of the Roman Empire. So he's saying this adversity that is actually presenting to some of the most important and powerful and influential people in the whole world and to everyone else that I am actually in chains for Christ, for a greater cause. And because of my change, because of this adversity, most of the brothers and sisters in the Lord have become confident. Paul's confidence is like contagious. Others are now confident in the Lord, and they dare all the more to proclaim, which is not like preaching, evangelizing. That's just laleo, speak. Just speaking the gospel without fear, like all of us can do. It's like Paul tells his friends, see this adversity that I'm going through? Look harder and you might see the amazing opportunity that God is planning, he's presenting. It's an opportunity to reveal himself to more and more people, to strengthen other believers, to spread the message of God. I mean, he's using me and this adversity to expand his kingdom in unprecedented ways. Can you believe how lucky I am to be here in prison in Rome? Woo! And you're like, that's crazy talk. I mean, that's rebellious joy. What if when we faced adversity in our own lives, we could genuinely smile, looking for the God-given opportunity in front of us to reach higher for God, grow deeper in our faith, be bound tighter to one another, gain experience and wisdom for our journey, and then help others in theirs, and to lend comfort or to meet a need or to stand for someone or something or invite others along with us and Jesus. And I don't know what it is, but when you see adversity in your own life or around you, I want to challenge you, right along with Paul, to look for the opportunity that God might be giving you, the stage that he might be calling you to step up onto, the providential purpose that he might be actually ordaining for you.